Scattered across the southern states of America are the remains of breathtaking estates, monuments to a powerful and genteel society that fed on the blood and tears of a slave class. It was on plantations like Oak Alley in Louisiana that African American slaves endured a system of brutality and cruelty that's barely comprehensible, to support a degree of luxury some considered to be their birthright. Slavery was the foundation of American wealth, especially in the South, and the prosperity of these regions was closely linked with mass-market cash crops like sugarcane, cotton, and tobacco, but these were extremely labour-intensive. Slavery enabled the settlers to harvest the wealth of their new nation, and all it took was a tweaking of their consciences and some twisting of their Christian beliefs.
It's true that Christianity was used as a weapon to justify the enslavement of African people. Christianity over the centuries has been used by many people to justify acts that are very unchristian.
The Africans were regarded as property, without any more rights than a chair. In practice, this meant they could be beaten by their owners and forced into back-breaking work. Take a moment to imagine living like this, going out to the fields every day and returning to this one dark room every night. Your entire family lives here, but you don't even have control over your own bodies. Any one of you can be sold off at any time. Do you have a sister or a daughter? Slave owners often sold off young girls to be the breeders of the next generation of slaves. Enslaved people weren't just physically defenseless, they were emotionally vulnerable as well. Slaves were denied any right that might confuse their status as property. They couldn't marry, they weren't allowed to learn to read, they essentially couldn't harbour any ambition for a future. Slave owners employed a range of means to assert control, including legislation and violence. They also used religion. Christianity, a message about being set free, was used as a justification for enslaving African people. White plantation owners read the Bible in a highly selective and frankly warped way. They plucked at verses to justify not only owning other human beings, but treating them no better, and in some cases far worse, than their farm animals. They emphasised passages that called on servants to obey their masters, while conveniently neglecting the Bible's radical insistence that all people were made in the image of God and equally precious in His sight. That those responsible for such systematic cruelty could claim to be followers of Jesus and even use Christian teaching to justify enslaving others is truly hard to fathom. And you'd think that anyone suffering under this system would reject such a faith out of hand. And yet, that's not what happened.
So enslaved people heard a lot of sermons about slaves be obedient to your masters, but they also heard the stories about Moses leading people to freedom. And they loved those stories and they internalized those stories. And they were certain that that would eventually be their story, that there would be a Moses who would lead them to freedom, that Jesus would not let them suffer forever.
That basis within Christianity, foreseeing every person as a child of God, as made in the image and likeness of God, was certainly a lesson that was extremely important for the slaves to repeat among themselves.
Secretly reading the Bible confirmed what they'd suspected. Slavery was wrong, and God was a God of justice who would judge their white oppressors. By the early 19th century, whites were joining the abolitionist movement for the same reasons, believing that divine justice was coming for an unjust system. America needed to repent of the national sin of slavery.
The abolitionist movement was a very important movement and an indicator of the fact that many whites were troubled by slavery. In part, they were troubled because they began to read slave narratives, that is, the accounts of former slaves who had escaped from slavery, such as Frederick Douglass's. And they realized that this was antithetical both to Christianity and to the claims of what America was about.
I love the pure, peaceable, and impartial Christianity of Christ. I therefore hate the corrupt, slave-holding, woman-whipping, cradle-plundering, partial and hypocritical Christianity of the land. Indeed, I can see no reason for calling the religion of this land Christianity. I look upon it as the climax of all misnomers, the boldest of frauds, and the grossest of libels. I am filled with unutterable loathing when I contemplate the religious pomp and show which everywhere surrounds me.
In 1852, Harriet Beecher Stowe, a deeply religious woman, published Uncle Tom's Cabin, the best-selling novel of the 19th century. It gave many people their first real view of slavery and sent shockwaves through American society.
A slave warehouse. There you'll find an abundance of husbands and wives, brothers and sisters, fathers and mothers, and small children, to be sold separately or in lots to suit the convenience of the purchaser. And that immortal soul can be sold, leased, mortgaged, exchanged for groceries or dry goods to suit the phases of trade or the fancy of the purchaser.
Uncle Tom's Cabin was the best-selling book in America before the Civil War, with the exception of the Bible. The Bible is the only book that sold more copies. And it's clear that Stowe reached a lot of people through her story, and that she galvanized a lot of anti-slavery sentiment.
The Bible was a key player in this whole story, for better and certainly for worse. Abolitionists used it to oppose slavery. Slave owners used it too. It's one of the clearest examples in history of how faith can be twisted to justify our worst behavior.
Ready for the topic of slavery?
Wow.
Christians. So slavery, we have this divisive issue because on the one hand, as churches, this is of course on church history, as a church we have to figure out, are we for slavery? Because lots of people in our churches have slaves. Or are we against slavery? And on what grounds? We remember that back in the colonies, there were various voices who were against slavery, but we stifled them. Would you all please be quiet about slavery? Because we want to be united against Britain. So during the Revolution, we got through the Revolution. Fascinating. When was the Revolution? 1776. That same year, the Quakers, whom we talked about last week, they expelled slave owners. If you are a slave owner in this room, you can no longer be a Quaker. There's the door. For any of you who are slave owners. 1776, the Quakers. 1784, the American Methodists banned slave owners. Many Baptists took a similar stand. Think of the book of, this is dangerous. When you're reading the Bible, sola scriptura, what are some of the stories that we have in that Bible? One of the letters that we have from St. Paul is the letter of St. Paul to Philemon. And the reason he's writing to Philemon is because Philemon is a slave owner. And his slave Onesimus has escaped and has come to Paul. And now Paul has to figure out what to do. Okay? My friend is a slave owner. What does Paul decide to do in his letter? He sends the slave back to the slave owner that says, you are to treat him as a brother. So what do you do when you're reading your scriptures? The good Baptist, or the good Methodist, or the good Catholic that you are, what do you do with texts like that, where you're no longer to treat him as a slave, but as a brother? The Presbyterian Church was a little less strict. Remember the Presbyterian Church from Scotland? They declared that slavery was against God's law, but they opposed its abolition and deposed a minister, a Presbyterian minister, who was for abolition, for abolishing slavery. In 1845, the Georgia Baptist Convention split on the issue. Have you heard of the Southern Baptist Convention? Where did that come from? It split over slavery. The Baptists who were against slavery remained as part of the Georgia Baptist Convention, and the Southern Baptist Convention split from them over the issue of slavery. We will continue to have our slaves here in the South. In 1861, now we're getting into the time of the Civil War, Southern presbyteries of the Presbyterian Church formed their own denomination as well. We love you, friends of the Presbyterian Church, but we are going to continue to have our own slaves, the Presbyterians that we are. The Methodists, they split as well over the issue of slavery and formed the Methodist Episcopal Church in the South in 1884. But what's even more fascinating than these splits among churches is what happened after the Civil War. Slavery is now abolished, which means that slaves are free. Okay? Are the whites in their white churches going to be happy about blacks coming to their white churches? How nice that blacks have this good idea instead of forming their own black churches. This is going to lead to a fascinating history. We have blacks forming their own churches. We said power in this world comes from one of two sources: organized people and or organized money. When you organize your own black church, what's going to happen? You're organizing people and you're organizing money. For the next century, most of the leaders of the African American movement will be pastors. Martin Luther King, it's no accident. What was he? He was a pastor. Here in Austin, the movements that up to the time of desegregation were mostly African American pastors. J.J. Seabrook, did you notice we renamed the bridge over Martin Luther King? J.J. Seabrook. Who's J.J. Seabrook? African American pastor. So after the Civil War, Southern white churches continued their racist teachings. So blacks formed their own churches, giving rise to various denominations, including the Colored Methodist Episcopal Church, or the CME here in the United States, the African Methodist Episcopal Church, the African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church. Have you seen in East Austin some of these churches that have words like Mount Zion? Interesting. They are Christian churches that follow this tradition of, you whites don't want us in your churches? That is absolutely fine. We will organize our own black churches. Black churches soon grew to be an important institution of black society because it brought people together on Sundays. Even today, it's an important institution in African American culture. It gave prestigious positions with free access to ministry. Think about that for a moment. Right? Instead of having to go through all sorts of seminary or something, with most black churches, if you're called by the Spirit and you're able to preach, you get up and preach.
I was just going to mention,
Now you understand. Now you understand why your First Amendment rights is always attacked. Because there's two powers in the world: the organization of people, the organization of money. So if you can bring people together, you are a force to be reckoned with. This is why when you speak truth like this, platform like this ban you or scale you down so that people can't hear your message, or they can't see it, or the message is played and then so that you won't hear the full messages. When we come up with messages like this, we're looked at with an evil eye, as to say we are stirring up dissension, we're stirring up brotherhood, because after all, are we all not good Christians? And I think most people have no idea of how you became Christians, how you became religious. You have absolutely no idea of your origin, because you, my friends, were born into slavery. So you were taught what your grandparents taught your mom and your dad, and what your dad taught you, and what you're going to teach to your children and children after you. Because the children of your children look to the grandparents. How many of you can say, my grandparents raised me? Some of you didn't live with your grandparents, but they raised you. Some of you lived in the grandparents, you live in the house with your parents, and your grandparents lived with you, and your grandparents was the provider. It happens all the time because that's the culture by which we were brought up in, not only in our ancient world, but in slavery. We were all together. And so in the 1800s, when we were so-called emancipated, what were you emancipated to do? You had no education, you had no money, you have nothing. So where's your freedom going to take you? You have no land, you can't trespass in someone's land, you go to jail. And the Constitution say that if you go to jail, you are a slave. You are not only treated like a slave, you are a slave. So what do? You hold on to the plantation where you were born. Some of our Asian grandparents were born in this plantation. That's all they knew. And they came up with these things like, oh, you're no longer slaves. You're free men to make free choices. But here's how it's going to go. We still have to govern over you because you don't know how to run a business. We're going to pay you this, and we're going to give you lodging, which you have to pay for. We're going to give you food, which you have to pay for. But now you are working for us. The only difference is we can't whip you like we used to. But we know that they whooped you anyway. Slavery is so important, ladies and gentlemen, because it opened up the doors for you to understand Christianity, religions, and the kingdom of this world. I say kingdoms of this world. Slavery is very important. Why? Why is this important? Because it opened up the opportunity for you to understand Christianity and how it works. Christianity is a slave institute. It's a slavery institution. Christianity, though some might tell you that Christianity outdates slavery, because you're going back from so-called Jesus, who walked in the first, third century, and so on and so forth, yeah, born and raised in 8030 when he died, and they will tell you that Christianity predates slavery. But I don't know which Bible you're reading, because Christianity doesn't predate slavery. Slavery was first, always has been. Slavery was a tool used by the Most High God, the one true God, to whip us into shape, because he would often prophesy about what was going to happen to us if we violate his commands. And everything that he prophesied come through to the T. So slavery was a thing before Christianity started. So slavery invent Christianity. Christianity was not our religion. It was not our ideology. Christianity was forced upon you. It was forced upon you through your through you being slaves. But you see, most of us today weren't born in chattel slavery. Most of us was born after 18 so-called in 65, when Abraham Lincoln emancipate the slaves. But if you were to look up the word emancipation, it really doesn't mean free. It means to transfer. The slaves wasn't free, they were transferred. We have a civil war over it. And I play the clip when he tells you the so-called Christians who claim to believe their God from the Bible that they give you tell you that this God okayed slavery. And because at one point, the slave owners would not Christianize you, because if they were to Christianize you, it would be now you have rights as human beings. So for them to baptize you or convert you into Christianity, it means now you challenge their position as masters. You see, okay, they would have no choice but to treat you as brothers. So what they do, they have to come up with a way to say, okay, we are Christians, but you are our property. You are 1/5 human beings, no greater than an animal. Sometimes, no, not sometimes, all the times, the animals were treated better than us. So I want you to really take a look at who you have become because of what was forced upon you. And through generations of generation, you have no idea. So you call yourselves Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, non-denominational, and so on and so forth, but you have no idea the origin of your belief. And that's because you have no idea of who you really are. You have no idea of who you are. You have no idea of the one true God. And so you were given a triune God to worship. You were given the slave master's God, a trinity of gods. You were given an image of that Trinitarian God who became flesh and dwelt among us, with blonde hair and blue eyes. And that is what we worship as God today. But what if I was to tell you that's a fictional character? That the Jesus you thought and the Jesus you pray to and the image you see, what if I was to tell you that that is a fictional character that has been given to you so you can continue to look at the slave masters as masters? You have no idea that you were slated by the Most High to be above and not below, to be the lenders and not the borrowers. You were slated to be above all people. That is your ambition. Your ambition was to be above, not because you claimed that, not because you were seeking that or reaching for that, because he said so. The great God Yahweh, the God of the Hebrew, not of those people who called themselves Hebrew, but you who are the true Hebrew. A whole book is dedicated to you. A whole chapter of the book. The whole book is your story. And it's our story. But it has been whitewashed. And we have seen it and we believed it because it was shoved down our throats. And so most of you today are New Testament Christians. New Testament Christians. Your background of belief is from the New Testament. And here's the thing. You think the New Testament is the new covenant. But you're not reading the scriptures. You think the New Testament is where your truth lies, but you're not reading the scriptures. You got to go to the prophets and you got to hear what they have to say. Because according to Chronicles 20, believe in the prophets, so shall you be established. This is what the Most High says. Believe in the Most High God and you will be what? Prosper. Believe in the prophets and so shall you be established. Amos chapter 3:7 said, surely Yahweh will do nothing but reveal it, his secret unto his servants, the prophets. Deuteronomy 29:29 says, the secret things belongs to the Most High God, Yahweh, but that which is revealed belong to us and our children. He has revealed some things to us. But you have to remember, ladies and gentlemen, our forefathers and our foremothers could not read English. They were stolen from their land, stripped of their pride and culture. It was forbidden for them to even call upon the names of their God. And when the time come when they were beaten, and you seen that movie, Kunta Kinte? What is your name? Kunta Kinte. No, you are Toby. And he ran, and they caught him, and they beat him. They put him in the hole, and he run, and they caught him, and they beat him, and they chop off his foot, his toes, amputate him, and beat him until he couldn't take anymore. He was broken. His spirit was broken. What is your name? Toby. Toby. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are broken. We identify ourselves as our religion. That's why some of you call yourselves a Muslim, Christians, Buddhists. You identify yourself by your government officials or your government parties. I'm a Democrat. I'm a Republican. Don't you know that whatever you call yourself, that is what you are? Do you know that your name carries your character? A name brings your character. So if you call yourself a Republican, what you're saying, you stand for everything the Republican believe, and you don't understand how the Republican was created. Did you know that the Republican Party was created by Black people? You got to look at your history. Did you know that Barack Obama was not the first Black president of the United States of America? You got to look at your history. Did you know that they had a Black Pope? You got to look at your history. Do you know that there's a Black Roman emperor? You got to look at your history. Do you know that the richest person on the planet that was the richest person, the most wisest person on the planet was a Black man named Solomon and not Solomon? I'm not even talking about Massa Musa, because Massa Musa does have no riches comparing to Solomon. You got to look at your history. And if you want to go from the negative side, the number one drug dealer of the planet was a Black man. Frank Lucas, bigger than the mob. What I'm trying to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, that greatness is you. You know, there's a famous motivational speaker named Les Brown. I love Les Brown. And Les Brown would say, greatness is in you. And I understand where he's coming from. But I want you to understand something even more than that. Greatness is not only in you, greatness is you. You are the commodity. You are the power of this world. Because that is what the Most High God created you to be. You were supposed to be his glory on the planet. You were supposed to be the one he worked through. You were supposed to be the one who he, the Most High Yahweh, the Most High Yahweh, would let the nations know through you that you are his glory on earth. Because that was the promise made to our father Abraham. All the nation will be blessed through you. Whoever curse you, I will curse. Whoever what? Blesses you, I will bless. That blessing is on us today. And they slave masters know it. That is why we became the wealth for them. Because they took your heritage, they took your blessings, and they took it by force. And they gave you their names. You know, our brother Malcolm had it right. And I said brother because of the fact that he was of the tribe of Yaosha, but not brother in belief, because you see, brother Malcolm was he adhered to the tradition of the Islamic religion. So though he was pro-black and understand black struggle, he still himself was misled. But he understood, my name is Malcolm X because, you see, I carry the name of my slave master. He understands some things. He understands black struggle. And you look at, ladies and gentlemen, you look at all the black leaders that was rose up. Freedom, Marcus Garvey, so-called Martin Luther, Malcolm X, Tubman, and all of them. Yes, they brought about some change. Some change was brought about, but never true freedom. Because you cannot be free in the land of your slave masters. There's no such thing as freedom in the cage. You must understand that. So as long as you live in the land of your slave masters, you're still a slave. And people don't understand these things. Because they could buy houses and buy cars and wear nice watches and have TV shows like these or a platform like these. You still think you're free, and that's the problem. You're not free. You own nothing. You own nothing. Even the very own house you claim to own, it's not yours. You got to pay for it. When you own something, you own it outright. So after you pay for your house, you still have to pay taxes. And the mere fact that you have to pay taxes mean that you don't own anything. You're owned, and you are the product. You're the product of this government. You're the product of your religion. You're the product of your churches. And that is why the Most High God has called us out. Come out of her, my people. It's hard for me because I've brought up in it. I was mingled up in it. I did the backstroke in it. But I had to take a look and say, wait a minute. Who is this God that we truly worship? See, in our culture, we don't use the name God and Lord in our culture. We don't. Okay, see, God and Lord is pagan. So how did it end up in the book? Because we were brought up and raised up in an English-speaking society. And those who controls the writings of the book. You know, I heard someone say, well, this is the Father trying to reach his people throughout all generations. Listen to me. Hear me very well. He says, I, Yahweh, change it not. So you sons of Yahoshar'al are not destroyed. He does not change. Whatever language he spoke to us, he read it. You will read it there, and he tell us, you will no longer hear the language that I speak to you in. You would no longer know my name. We had to fulfill a curse. We had to fulfill the curse of Deuteronomy 28 because of our disobedience. And the curse is not only for those who walk through it, the curse is for our descendants forever until the Most High God comes and snatch us up back. The Most High says, you'll be to our father Abraham, you'll be in a land not your own. Your children will be in a land not their own. And they'll be slave 400 years. And after the 400 years, I'm going to come again and drive out the nation they serve as slaves. I'm here to tell you that all our slave masters have not yet been punished. They have not yet been punished. They're living in the luxury of our disobedience. And as long as you remain disobedient, your slave masters will flourish. It's only when we come together and call upon the name of our God, not the God they gave us, not Jehovah, not Jesus. No, the one true God, Yahweh. Our slave masters and our slave ancestors been calling on those names forever. And every freedom and everything that you think happened to us, we think it's from our Father, that our Father is doing these things. But let me tell you something. He allows certain things to happen, but now he has to fulfill the word he promised to our forefathers that he's coming to get us. And ladies and gentlemen, he sent us the ravenous bird. To be able to see this in our lifetime, to be able to see that a prophecy is being fulfilled before our very eyes. Yeshayahu, Isaiah 46 and verse 8 says, remember this and show yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O you transgressors. Remember the former things of old, for I am Yahweh, and there is none else. I'm not 1 in 3 or 3 in 1. There's none like me. I am Yahweh, and there is none like me. So if he's a triune God, 3 in 1, there's 2 others like him. Even if the 2 others are him by himself, there's still 2 others like him. If there's God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit, there's 2 other creatures like him, 2 other personalities like him. There's none like me, say the Most High God. None. So what we were being taught about the Trinity is a lie. Our God is not a Trinity. The Trinity is the Christian God, who is the Canaanite God, who is the Egyptian God, who is the Babylonian God, who is the Roman God. They worship multiple gods. We worship one single God. And his name is Yahweh. Verse 10 of Yeshayahu, declaring the end from the beginning and from the ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do my pleasure. Calling a ravenous bird from the east, a man that execute my counsel from a far country. Yes, I have spoken it. I will also bring it to pass. I have purposed it. I will also do in it. To be able to live in a time to see scripture fulfilled right before your very eyes is incredible. The ravenous bird, ladies and gentlemen, is not for everybody. When the Most High God sends a prophet, he doesn't send a prophet to the world. He doesn't send a prophet. Never, he ever send a prophet to the world. Read the book. Anytime the Most High, the God, the Elohim that we worship, whenever he dealt and deal with nations, it's always judgment. Read the book. Sodom and Gomorrah, judgment. His people was there. Abraham petitioned for those people, and the Most High God took them out, and then he destroyed both cities. Egypt, when our people was trapped in Egypt, the Most High God sent Masha, aka Moses, tell that fox to let my people go. And when he refused, because the Most High purposely hardened his heart. Why he did it? To display his power through his people, that the world may know that he is God. And since Egypt was the superpower at the time, he had to show Egypt that you are not a God. Because Pharaoh think he was Egypt. I am Egypt. Had to show him, you're not a God. And all the gods you worship, all the deity that you worship, because Egypt worship, some said over 1,000 deities. But the Most High God, our God, the one we worship, our Elohim, showed the Egyptian people and all the surrounding nations that he is God over every other God, and there's none like him. And so he started to unleash some plagues, and the plagues were against the gods of Egypt. And then he brought his people out. And the purpose was, come out of her that you may worship me. Worship is obedience. It's not some song, singing some altar, clapping something, reading some Bible, hear a man preach. That's not worship. That's never worship. Worship is obedience. Worship is hearing the law of the Most High God, hear his command, his precepts, his counsels, and do them. And that's why he called a ravenous bird. He says, calling a ravenous bird from the east, a man that execute my counsel from a far country. I have spoken it. I will also bring it to pass. I will purpose it. It's happening right now. When I open my mouth in prayer, that's where the Most High God led me, to the ravenous bird. Yes, check him out. Ravenous bird on YouTube. Go look him up. And he was sent to the people of the Most High God. I'm here to tell you, if you're reading the Bible, and if you are any reader of the Bible, any reader of the Old Testament, because most of the belief system today is New Testament, Greek New Testament teachers. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I have thrown out the New Testament as authentic doctrine. I've thrown it out. I have thrown it out. Because when I found out, historically, there are only two of the 27 books of the New Testament that was written in Hebrew, the source language, and that's Matthew and Revelation. I throw it out. Because when you look at how the Most High God operates, the Most High Adonai Elohim operates in the scripture, and how he uses prophets, you have to now say, what is the truth? What is the truth given to us by our Elohim and not by our slave masters. And so we're learning to read the source language for ourselves so that we will not be once again deceived by an interpretation by someone. We rely on, I don't even want to use the word spirit anymore, because that word itself, spirit, is a mistranslated word that comes from the root word, our source language, ruach. And we said ruach means breath, but it actually means force, wind. Our wind force. So that breath, that nuach, that so-called spirit that we've been using, we have to be very careful because those are translated word. So when it comes to dealing with the God that we worship, Yahweh that we worship, we have to break certain habits. You know, we have to break certain habits. And so what I'm learning to is break the habits of using God and Lord and Jesus and spirit, because when you use these words, what I found that's happening is that I'm reverting back to my former way of thinking. And when I deal with the public, I want to be able to relate to you because I once believed what you believe, but I've learned something, ladies and gentlemen, and here's what I've learned. You cannot use the counterfeit to understand truth. If the dollar is counterfeit, you cannot use it to understand truth. If this dollar is counterfeit and this one is the real deal, how will I know which is which? You see the problem, ladies and gentlemen, I've been using the counterfeit my whole life. So how would I know that this is the truth when I only had the counterfeit? So what I must do now is I must get rid of the counterfeit. Focus on the real deal. And so when I look at the real deal, the counterfeit will be made plain to me. We've been studying the counterfeit for years. And so we have no choice but to continue down that road, because after all, what is left for us? Thanks be to our Adonai Adaim, Alaim, that he sent the ravenous bird, the man who will execute my counsels, the man who's from the east, the man that execute my counsel from a far country. And so to be able to read the source language, to be able to say, all right, let's look at it and see what was said about this so-called image that we were given of a man who we call Jesus. Was there one sent like Moses, like Marsha said, one was going to be sent from among his people to his people, that the world called Jesus, which we now know that it's not this Jesus that was given to us, but the true Mashiach, who is Yahoshua, was given, who worked miracles, who preached the law, who reveal the true and manifest the true Elohim to us, from the tribe of Judah, who will sit on the throne forever, who died, but not on some cross. He was lynched on a tree, who rose back and went to heaven. Yes, there is a true Mashiach that was sent. If you read Isaiah Yashayahu, it tells you that he was not a comely man. He was not a handsome man as we see handsome today. He had no features on him to make him be stand out. So what we've been seeing here, ladies and gentlemen, in this so-called image of this blonde hair, blue eye guy is not the image of the Mashiach that was sent. Because the Mashiach that was sent have to be from his people. He was from the tribe of Judah. And if he's from the tribe of Judah, he is true Yahushael, one what we call Israel today. But I don't even want to use the word Israel, because when you use the word Israel, you're not painting the right picture. You're seeing other pale, white, blonde hair, blue eyes, other pale people, white people, when you see and speak the word Israel. The true facts is that the true people of the Most High God have to fit the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28. And they have to fit it to the T. There cannot be one thing left out of that curse. And I'm here to tell you that those who call themselves Israel has never gone through the curse. Yes, they went through some things, but not to the entirety of the curse of Deuteronomy chapter 28. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, what am I proclaiming to you? What am I proclaiming to you is that the true people of the book, the true people of the promise, the true people of the bloodline are those who have gone through the Atlantic slave trade. You are the true children of the promise. The whole story, the whole event, it's about you and the Most High God who you worship. Amos chapter 3 says, Amos chapter 3, and I keep going over these scriptures over and over again because I want to drive the nail in this point. Amos chapter 3, hear this word of Yahweh. Hear this word that Yahweh has spoken unto you. Unto who? O children of Yahushua. When the Most High God, when the Most High Elohim speak, he's speaking to us. Like I said before, ladies and gentlemen, anytime the Most High Elohim speak outside of us, it's either judgment or warning. It's either judgment or warning. He doesn't deal with the nations. He doesn't deal with the nations outside of judgment or warning. Read the book. You will see what I'm saying is true. Hear, O Yahushua, this does say it the Most High. Thus say Yahweh, speak to the children of Yahushua and tell them this. He never speak to anyone else. And we can look in Old Testament and we'll see he spoke to the angel when he sent them to get Lot and his family out of Sodom and Gomorrah, because he already pronounced judgment on that city. He had sent Jonah to Nineveh. Come on, you know I'm talking truth. He has sent Jonah to Nineveh to warn the Ninevean king, hey, if you don't repent, I'm going to destroy the city. That king repent in sackcloth and ashes, and his whole generation was spared. But later on, the Most High God destroyed, because the next king that came up cares nothing for the message, and revert the country back to sinning against the Most High, and he destroyed that city. Then he sent Masha to Egypt, where he displayed his powers and bring Egypt to nothing, and made a prophecy that Egypt would never rise to power again, but only a little stub shall be in the earth. And he freed his people. And he brought them out to the wilderness, and he says, here's the thing. Before I come down to you, before I deliver my message to you, sanctify yourself. Can't just come into my presence. Sanctify yourself. Wash your clothes. Come not near your wives. Because on the third day, I'm coming down. You see, ladies and gentlemen, Christianity teach you that we're going up. I beg to differ. It was never his intention for you to go up to him. Never his intent. He created earth for you. For you. This is your dwelling place. This is where he created you to be. This is where he created you to govern. And he's coming down to us. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. It's his desire is to come be with us. Exodus 25. Speak to the children of Yahusha and say this to them. You see, he's always speaking to us. Exodus 25. What he says here in Exodus 25. Speak to the children of Yahusha all the time. Speak to the children of Yahusha. Speak to the children of Yahusha. Every time he's speaking directly to us. And I've said this to many of you who are watching my program. I said, listen to me and hear what I'm saying. He's always speaking to us because his promise is with us. And if he's not speaking to us, he's not speaking to no one else. When the children of Yahushua was in Egypt, did the Most High God speak to any other nations? Did he forsake us and go to some other nations? As a matter of fact, he has scripture in here. Have a nation, look and see, has a nation forsake its God? No other nation does that except us. We're always a whoring after other gods. Watch what he says here. Exodus 25. And Adonai spake to Moshe, saying, speak unto the children of Yahushua, that they bring unto me an offering. Every man that giveth it willingly with his heart shall he take my offering. And all the things he says to Moshe. Let's jump down to verse 9. According to all that I show thee after the pattern of the tabernacle and the pattern of all the instrument thereof, even shall ye make it. But let's go back now to verse 8. And let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them. So what he wants to do, he wants to dwell among us. He wants to come down here. And then what he says, make sure when you make the sanctuary, you're not making it in your own image. You're not making it after your own likeness. You're not making it after the things you think you should do it. Make sure you make that sanctuary after the pattern that I've showed you, the instrument thereof. Make sure you build it just like the one I showed you in heaven. He wants to come down. The Most High God, read your Bible. He comes down all the time. People think the Most High God just stay up in heaven. He comes down all the time. Are you reading your Bible? Speak to the children of Yahushua. Going back to Amos chapter 3, hear this word that Yahweh has spoken against you. So here's some word he's spoken against us. O children of Yahushua, against the whole family which I brought out of the land of Egypt, saying, you only. What does it mean? You only. That means there's no one else besides you. You only. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my only pencil. It means that I have no more in my possession. This is my only pencil. That's what he's saying. You only have I known. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for your iniquities. You only. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say to you now that the children of Yahusha is not the only people on earth. The children of Yahusha were not the only people on earth when he said this. But you have to look at what he says here. Hear this word of Yahweh, that Yahweh had spoken against you, O children of Yahusha, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. Let's jump over right now real quick to Exodus 19. Exodus 19. Let's jump right over to Exodus 19. You only, watch this now. Exodus 19 verse 4. You have seen what I did unto the Egyptians. The Egyptians were a nation. So he's speaking to the children of Yahusha about another nation, and he's saying, you have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bear you on eagle's wings and brought you unto who? Myself. Now, therefore, here's a choice. Now, therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine, and you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, and a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Yahusha. Ladies and gentlemen, this was before they received the 10 Commandments. They have not received the 10 Commandments yet. He's making a promise to them. He said, I have chosen you for myself. Yahusha, you are my firstborn. I have chosen you for myself above the people of the earth. Though all the earth is mine, he said. The earth belonged to him, all the families, all the people of the earth. But he said, you have I chosen. You belong to me. You bear my name. If my people who are called by my name, he says, will humble themselves. We're called by his name. Why do you think our slave masters change your names? Change the names of our ancestors, because the name of our ancestors bear the name of our God. And if we have heard the name, we would have wanted to know the meaning. When you hear bakum boom boom boom, you know what I mean? You hear the African boom boom boom. My name is boom boom boom. You don't know what it means. What does that mean? When you hear me say Yasha Ya'o, and when you hear Doed for David, not David, but Doed, not Isaiah, but Yashai Ya'o. When you hear all these names with these Ya'o, 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 at some point you're going to be like, who is Ya'o? Why is it that everybody's name attached Ya'o? Because he says, if my people who are called by my name. And if you think his name is not important to him, then you got to read the next chapter here. Verse 16 of chapter 19. Verse 16 of chapter 19. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning, and there was thunder. Come on now, somebody. And lightning, and a thick cloud upon the mountain, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud. You know, this word trumpet here, you know, it's mispronounced as shofar. It's not shofar, it's shofar. All right. So when we say shofar, we think it's a ram's horn. And so you hear people blowing this ram's horn. No, trumpet. The trumpet. exceeding loud, so that all the people that were in the camp trembled. And Masha brought forth the people out of the camp out to meet Yahweh, and they stood at the nearest part of the mountain. And the Mount Sinai, it's actually Mount Sinai, was altogether on a smoke, because Yahweh descended upon it in fire. And the smoke therefore ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. And when the voice of the trumpet sound long and waxed louder and louder, Masha spake, and Yahweh answered him by voice. We used to hear the voice of our God. The question is, and if you're going back into time, you will see one of the reasons why we don't hear his voice is because we're in slavery. But the most important reason why we don't hear his voice is because we don't want to hear it. We're afraid of it. Watch this now. Verse 24. Actually, let's read verse 25. And Moses went down. Okay, so now Moses went down. The Most High spoke. Masha called to him, and he spoke. Everybody heard his voice, and they were pissing afraid. And then what did he say? Remember, he told us before we got to the mountain, and he's speaking to Masha at this time. So Masha, he's speaking. Masha is the middleman. He's speaking to Masha. Masha's speaking to us. Speaking to Masha, speaking to us. But this time, Masha brought the children of Yahosharel to go and speak to the Most High God, the Most High Elohim, directly. No more middleman. I will speak to you and you will speak to them. No more. I'm going to speak and they're going to hear what I say. So they're going to know that you are a prophet because I spoke to you, but now I'm going to speak to them. So when Masha called to him, he answered them. So all the children that was there heard the voice of Yahweh. And here's what he says. This is what he says. Y'all ready? Exodus 20, verse 1. He says, and Yahweh spake all these words. Make no doubt who is speaking here. This is not Moses now. This is not Masha who's speaking a second hand. This is God, Yahweh himself is speaking now. And Yahweh spake all these words. And what he says, I am Adonai, your Elohim, which have brought you out of the land of Egypt. I am Yahweh, who have brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You, that's what thou mean. You shall have no other gods before me. Boom. Man, I could, after he's speaking the commandments, I could just hear, I just imagine these things in my mind. I could just imagine the loud trumpet or lightning flashing. And man, I could just imagine the terror as he spoke. I could just imagine the terror. Because he's speaking his covenant here. This is the covenant. If you keep my covenant, you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people. You heard the voice of the living Elohim. Watch this now. Second, you shall have no other gods before me. Sorry. This third one now. You shall not make unto thee any graven image of any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, your Adonai Elohim, I'm a jealous God. You know, when this is written here that he's a jealous God, what they don't realize here, what he was saying, my name is jealous. In other words, It's not jealous as you see jealous. Where you're jealous over some girl, or some girl talking to some other guy, or some guy talking to some other girl, and you're jealous because that's your girl they're talking to her, that's your guy. That's not the jealous. The jealous here, ladies and gentlemen, is that my name is to be feared and revered above. You can't mix me with anyone else. That's why he says, come out of Egypt and come out here to worship me, because I want to separate and segregate myself from any other. And I say this before, and I say it many, many times. This Allah aim we worship is not a inclusive God. He doesn't include everybody. And I think we've been taught by Christianity that, oh, everybody come as you are. No, you don't understand. He's not an inclusive God. He's not an inclusive God. He's exclusive. When you come before him and you're not of the seed, you're not of the promise, you better join yourself to him. That's the difference. When a stranger or a sojourner come, they join themselves to him. And they do that by simply making a decision to serve him and to worship him. Watch this. I'm going to show you that. But let me go down in this verse. So when he says, I'm a jealous, Allah aim, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. What does it mean to hate him? What does it mean to hate this Allah aim? It's to not keep his commandments. It's to not obey his voice. It's to not do what he says. If you are not walking in the commandments of the Most High God, you are a hater of them. And that's why the world is judged, because he considered you a hater. You hate him. To love him is to keep his commands. Come on, somebody. Am I speaking truth here? If I'm speaking truth, testify to the truth. To love him is to keep his commands. That's what it means to love. So don't think it's that emotional love where you meet somebody and just, oh, if he's so nice. That's not the kind of, no. His love is in the form of a contract, a covenant. That's what a contract is. A covenant is a contract. He's making a contract with you. He's saying, listen to me. I'm going to do this for you if you do this for me. It's not one-sided. In your Christianity, in your religion, you've been praying, bowing down, doing all the rituals, and you still can't hear from him. That's a one-sided relationship. If you're in a relationship with a guy, if you're in a relationship with a girl, and you're the one doing all the calling, you're the one setting up all the fun stuff, you're the one cooking all the food, you're the one, and he's not doing nothing, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to stay lovers for long. Because, listen to me, you're going to find some other guy that's going to do that better for you. In a relationship, it takes giving, and it takes 100% giving on both sides. That's how you have a relationship. You have to be able to relate to the person. The person have to be able to relate to you. If one person is doing all the work, the next person is not relatable. You're going to have issues. So the Most High God didn't want just a relationship. He wants a contract. He wants it written. He wants a covenant with you, because he's going to do something for you. That's part of the covenant. I'm going to do something for you. I'm going to bless you. The blessing is to show that you have a relationship with him. When my wife decided to marry me, she took on my name. We're in a covenant relationship. She took my name. She basically said, you are going to be my master. I know you don't want to hear that. I know a woman wants to hear that. And I say, I'm going to be your lover. I'm going to be your provider. I'm going to be your source. I'm going to be the one you look to, because she was created for me. The Most High created her for me. The Most High created her and gave her to me. So I'm like I don't want to use that because I'm going to throw you off. So let me just leave it there. But you understand what I'm saying. She took my name, denoting ownership. I don't own her to treat her like a slave. I own her to treat her like a lover. The Most High God took on a relationship with us because he owns us. And he didn't own us to treat us like slaves. He owned us to treat us like sons and daughters. You represent him on earth. When you get to know this Most High God, you could call on him, he answer. Just like when Marsha called, right? Marsha called, and who answered? The Father answered. Do you not want that relationship? I don't know about you, but that's the relationship I have. When I speak, he answered. I was feeling some pain in my side. And I don't know what something was going on here. I started to think maybe it's what my bitter gall or gallstone or whatever. Something was happening to me. And I called upon his name. I say, Yahweh, something is going on here in my side. I want you to take a look at it for me. I put that in your hands. I trust you. And let me tell you something. I went to bed and I can feel it subside. Yo, man, you don't understand what I'm trying to say to you. There's power in his name. If you look at the screen now, you see I put it there. For those of you that's following me on TikTok and Facebook, you probably you can't see this, but if you go on YouTube and I mean TikTok and Instagram, if you go on YouTube and Facebook, you'll see it is. It's run across the screen. Put the name of Yahweh to the test. That's what I do. Listen to me. Taste and see that Adonai is good. You got to taste that. You got to put that to the test, man. Because listen to me. You've been worshiping and calling on the name of Jesus forever, and you're drawing conclusion in your minds, but you see no real growth. You see no real power. And yes, some things are going to happen for you because you believe. Right? But you must understand something. There's something greater. There's a greater understanding that you're missing. Let's look at this again. Now. Verse 5, Exodus 25. And thou shalt not bow thyself down to them, nor serve them, for I, your Adonai, I, Yahweh, I'm a jealous Elohim, visiting the iniquities. Listen what he's saying. Listen to what he's saying. He will visit the iniquities. That's the lawlessness of the fathers unto their children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hates me. Now, who is he speaking to? He's not speaking to the world. He didn't give these commandments to the world. He didn't give these commandments to the nations around. He gave that to us. So whether he visit the sins of the father upon the third and fourth generation of them that hates him, whether that is applied to the world, at this point, it doesn't really matter. What matters is what he's saying to you. What matters is what he's saying to us. But showing mercy unto 1,000 generations of them that love me and keep my commandments. So to love him is to keep his commands. And what he says he's going to do, show mercy and love unto them that love me. So if you show love to him, he's going to show love to you. That's just how it works. Thou shalt not take the name of Yahweh in vain, for Adonai will not, or Yahweh will not hold him guiltless for taking his name in vain. His name is sacred. Careful how you use that name. Watch this out. Verse 8, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shall thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of Adonai your Elohim. The 7th day is the Sabbath of Yahweh. In it shalt thou do no work. You nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor manservant, nor maidservant, the cattle, nor thy strangers. Now who? Thy strangers. Now who? Thy strangers that's within thy gates. So not only for your family, not only for your father, not only for your daughter, your son, your maidservant, your manservant, but those who either work for you are those who are staying in your house. Can't let them desecrate the Sabbath of the Most High God. Watch this now. Watch this. 4. Here's the reason. 4, in 6 days, Yahweh made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested on the 7th day. Wherefore Yahweh blessed the 7th day and hallowed it. This is very important, ladies and gentlemen. Out of all the commandments, I'm going to show. Let me go back right to that. Let's finish the rest of the commandment. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth. Okay, now verse 12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Yahweh has given thee. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's manservant, nor his maidservant, his ox, his donkey, his ass, or anything that is thy neighbor. Right? So the people heard his voice. He never hide it from them. He never write it on just some stone and hand it to Moses to hand it to them. No, he spoke it. They heard it. Now look at their response to what was said. Verse 18, and all the people saw the thundering and the lightning and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. When the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. And they said unto Masha, speak thou with us, and we will hear, but let not Yahweh speak with us unless we die. So what happened there? Masha's job was to bring them to Yahweh, and Yahweh was going to be the one that speaks to us from that point on. But when we heard what was said, you see, the reason why we were so afraid is because our ancestors were living against the law of God. They were transgressing these laws. They were living contrary to what they heard. They had more than one God because they were in Egypt. Some of them had bring their false idols. You know this was true because when Masha went up to the Moses, what did they do down in the bottom there? They were worshiping idols. They have corrupted themselves. So when they hear these things now, they thought, we're definitely going to die because we have violated every one of this command. So they stood afar off. Listen to what Moses said. Listen to what Masha said now in verse 20 of Exodus 19. And Masha said unto the people, fear not. Don't be afraid. What are you afraid for? Yahweh is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your face, that you will sin not. So he put these to you so you will sin not. And the people stood afar off, and Masha drew near unto the thick darkness where Yahweh was. You should read this, man. This is powerful. Verse 21, and the people stood afar off, right? Verse 22, and Yahweh said unto Moses, thus thou shalt say unto the children of Yahushael, you have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. You shall not make with me goals of silver. You shall not make with me. This with me means don't make an image of me. Gold and silver, neither shall you make unto you gods of gold. An altar of earth thou shalt make unto me, and shalt sacrifice thereon thy burnt offering and thy peace offering, thy sheep and thine oxen, in all places where I record my name. Listen to this very careful. I will come unto thee, and I will bless thee. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, bless thee. And if thou wilt make an altar of stone, and shall not build it up of he stone, for if thou lift up any tool upon it, thou shalt pollute it. Watch this now. Neither shalt thou go up by step unto my altar, that thy nakedness be not discovered thereon. All the churches has an altar. Isn't that true? Where they call you up. Come to the altar. What's there? A couple steps down it. The podium up here. Boom, boom, boom. So that whole system of worship is against the commandments of God. Yahweh. All your churches have these altars. So it's in violation of the commandments of the Most High. All right, let's go back to number 4. The number 4 commandment. Remember the Sabbath day. It's the only one of the 10 commands that he says, remember. It's important to him. It's one that is important to him. This is important to him. This is when he created the world. He blessed the Sabbath day and he hallowed it. It's a memorial of creation. It's a memorial that he is the God he is the Elohim who created the world. It's his day. It's not our day. It's his day. Watch this. I'm going to close up now, man. I'm hungry. I'm feeding you guys long enough. I need to eat now. Now watch this. Watch this. Watch this now. Exodus 31. Watch this. Who is he speaking to? The children of Yahushua. There were many nations around, but only the children of Yahushua is getting this information. Because he's not the God. He's not the Elohim of the Amorites, the Amalekites, the Perizzites. You understand me? Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, let me make it abundantly clear for you now. Because Christianity has fooled and lied to us for so long. Let me just put it in modern language for you. He's not the God of America. See, nobody ever put it in layman's term for you. He's not the God of America. He's not the God of Europe. He's not the God of the Caribbean islands. He's not the God of Mexico. He's not the God of, you name it, of Africa. And that's what people don't understand. You see, the Amalekites, the Canaanites, the Egyptians, they were all part of this planet. He's not the God of this planet. He owns it. Everything belonged to him, but he's not the God of this planet. That is why he says, I am the Elohim, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Is anyone getting what I'm saying right now? Is anyone understanding what I'm saying? Or am I just making a fool of myself here? He's not the God of America. America doesn't worship the God of Abraham. Because if America was in worship with the God of Abraham, America would have kept the laws. America is a government that is not run on biblical principles. It's run on New Testament principles. It's run on Christianity principle. That's why you say America is a Christian nation. And a Christian nation is a Roman nation. A Christian nation is Rome. So to call yourself a Christian, you're calling yourself a Roman. You don't want to hear it. It's true. Because Christianity was started by Rome. You don't want to hear it. Christianity is the official religion of the Roman Empire. And if you look at America, America is identical to Rome. Identical in every way. Just look at the buildings, man. Look at the monuments. It's Rome. It takes on the philosophy of Egypt. America is in rebellion against the God of Abraham. America has enslaved and trapped the people of God, the people of Yahweh. And so is the European nations. And so is the Caribbean islands. The world has trapped and enslaved the people of Most High God. And his voice is not heard. because it's wrapped up in religion, and people are using religion as the way or the gate or the medium. No, ladies and gentlemen, religion is not the gate, the way, nor the medium. And you were told through Christianity that Jesus is the way, the truth, and life. No one cometh to the Father but by him. That's what you were told. But you read the Old Testament, you see that Moses, Masha, brought the children of Yaosheral to the Father. If you read the prophets, you will see that Elijah brought the children of Yaosheral back to the Father when they slipped into slavery. So you got to think about some things here. Remember, watch this now. Exodus 31:12. And Yahweh spake unto Masha, saying, speak unto the children of Yaosheral. Who is he speaking against? Who is speaking to? The children of Yaosheral. Is he speaking to the Egyptians? No. Is he speaking to America? No. Is he speaking to Canada? No. Is he speaking to Europe? No. Is he speaking to the Caribbean? No. Who is he speaking to? The children of Yaosheral. That's who he's speaking to. That's who his covenant is with. Watch this. Watch this now. Speak unto the children of Yaosheral, saying, verily my Sabbaths you shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generation, that you may know that I am Yahweh, who sanctify you. Verse 16, wherefore the children of Yaosheral shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generation, for a perpetual, everlasting covenant. So the Sabbath is not just some day of rest, it's a covenant with the children of Yaosheral. Verse 17, it is a sign. You know what a sign is? A sign is a mark. A sign is a seal. A sign is a token, and a sign is a destination, leads to a destination. That's why he says here in verse 17, it is a sign between me and you and the children of Yaosheral forever. Here goes that 4 again. For in 6 days Yahweh made the heaven and earth, and the 7th day he rested and was refreshed. You know how many times I hear people said, well, we have so many calendars, the Julian calendars, this calendar, that calendar, blah, 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 blah. So the Most High God will give you a day and command you to keep it, but you're totally oblivious to the day he's commanding you to keep. What a righteous God he would be. No, if he's going to tell you to do something, he's going to tell you what to do, when to do it, how you do it. Look at the instruction of how he told Noah to build the ark. He instructed him like that. Look, when he told Moses in Exodus 25, March in Exodus 25, to build a sanctuary, he said, I'll give you a replica to build it after. Make sure you build it like this, using this material. The Most High God doesn't leave you wanting. He doesn't leave you guessing. If he's going to command you to do something, he's going to tell you what it is. He's going to tell you how to do it. Because if he does not, then he cannot hold you guilty. And he expects you to keep his covenant. And if he expects you to keep his covenant, it's his job to make sure I understand his covenant. Why? Watch this. Why? Watch this. Psalms. Watch this now. Psalms 89. Watch this. Psalms 89. Verse 34. Psalms 89, verse 39. My covenant will I not break. Hold on now. Wait a minute. Did he not just say over here that the Sabbath is a sign between us and him, that we may know that he is Elohim who made us holy? So the sign is a covenant between him and us, that we may know, not him, that we may know that he is our Elohim that makes us holy. But now he's saying here, my covenant will I not break. So this covenant that he made with us, that we may know that he is God, he said, I'll never break it. Come on, is anybody seeing this? Is anybody understanding this? I will not break my covenant. Listen what he says here. My covenant will I not break nor alter the things that gone out of my lips. He said, nor alter the things that gone out of my mouth. If I speak it, I will do it. If I speak it, it's everlasting. It has no end. So I talked to you earlier about strangers. The strangers that's within thy gates. If so, make a if the most high, the one and only true God, only dealing with his children, what happened to the rest of the world? Is Europeans going to be saved? After all, does not European enslave the people of the most high God? You got to read your Bible and see what he said he's going to do to the Europeans who enslaved us. You got to look in the Bible and look and see what he says he's going to do to America that enslaved us, the Caribbean islands that enslaved us. They're going to get a double portion for saving. Listen, he says, vengeance is mine. Vengeance is mine, and I will repay. Now, if the promises for us and for Abraham and his children and all who are and his descendants forever, what do you think the double portion of that vengeance is going to be? It's going to be for their family, their children, and their descendants forever. But now let me show you something that he talks about strangers. Because you see, he is the Allah aim that owns the world. All the souls truly belong to him. And he takes no pleasure in the death of a wicked man. Listen to what he said. Let's go to Ezekiel. So what happened to the strangers if he's only dealing with the children of Yahusha? And you see, ladies and gentlemen, like I told you before, he's not the God of America. He's not the God of Africa. He's not the God of Canada. He's not the God of the European Union. He's not that. He's not the God. He's still the Allah aim of Israel. He doesn't of Yahusha. I want to use the word Israel because when I use that word, you're looking somewhere else. Israel and Yahusha is two different set of people. Is Yahusha are they that can chase their lineage through the Middle Passage Atlantic slave trade? We are the children of Yahusha. We are the true children of the promise. Now, Ezekiel 18 says, listen to what Ezekiel says. Ezekiel 18 says in chapter 1, the word of Yahweh came unto me again, saying, what mean ye that you use this proverb concerning the land of Yahusha, saying, the father have eaten sour grapes, and the children teeth are set at edge? As I live, saith Yahweh, you shall not have occasion any more to use this proverb in Yahusha. Behold, listen to me. Listen to what he's saying here. Behold, all souls are mine. Now, was he just talking about us? Or was he just talking about all souls? No, because he never says all of Yahusha souls are mine. He never said that. He said all. So I have to use logics here and say when he says all, he's talking about all souls. It may not be because I have not have the source language in front of me to decipher this passage. So I'm going off of what I have here. Behold, all souls are mine. As the soul of the Father, so the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. But if a man be just, listen to this now. If a man be just, because a lot of people say, well, we've been told that no one come to the Father but by Jesus. We've been told that. But listen to what Most High God is saying here now. I want you to hear what he's saying. Behold, all souls are mine. As the soul of the Father, so the soul of the Son is mine. Right? It's mine. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. But listen to what he said. But if a man, here we say, if a man be just and do that which is lawful. So what is a just man? A just man is one that is what is lawful. A just man is one that do what is lawful. Now, lawful according to the laws of the land? No, that's not what makes you just. What makes you just is the man that do according to the law of Yahweh. So he says here, verse 5, but if a man be just and do that which is lawful and right, and has not eaten upon the mountains, neither has lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Yahusha, neither has defiled his neighbor's wife, neither has come near to a menstruous woman, and has not oppressed any, but has restored to the debtor his pledge, has spoiled none by violence, has given his bread to the hunger, and has covered his nakedness with a garment. He that has not given forth unto usury, you know what usury is? Collecting interest upon your money when you lend it to someone. And we know that America is not built that way. America is built upon debt. A matter of fact, if you want to know anything about death, if you want to know anything about how to build wealth in America, listen to me. Hear what I'm saying? I want you to look in my eyes here. If you want to know how to build wealth in America, you need debt. Debt is wealth. Rich dad, poor dad. Trust me, that's how you get rich in this country, by using and leveraging death. See, so the system of America is not built upon the system of the Most High God, because usury, our debt, our interest is against the law of the Most High God, the one we worship, Yahweh. See, I keep saying God is, especially when I'm dealing with people. Sometimes, when I say Alaim, people might think I'm Muslim. I'm not Muslim. Okay, I'm not Muslim. I just told you, I'm not a part of any world religion. I'm not a part of any world religion. Let me say that a couple more times so someone can hear me. Not because you hear me use word that's likened to a religion means I'm a part of it. I'm not a part of any world religion. Okay? Any. I'm a son of Yahusha Al. I'm a member of the kingdom of the Most High God. It's not of this world, man. Anyway, all right. So it is. Anyway, because I have to be mindful, because I don't want to keep going back to the things I've learned. I want to be renewed, to be, to have that renewed mind that is given true by the prophets, that giving you the understanding of who this one true Elohim is. All right, so it says, he that has not given forth upon usury, neither has taken any increase, that has withdrawn his hand from iniquities, that's lawlessness, has executed true judgment between man and man, loving thy neighbor as thyself, has walked in the statute, and has kept my judgment to deal truly. He is just. He shall surely live, saith the Most High. So who is he shall what? Surely live. Now, I told you before, he said he will not alter the things that gone out of his mouth. So a man can be just by understanding this Elohim and the covenant he made. That man shall live. Now, what if this man doesn't know the so-called Jesus that we were told no man cometh to the Father but by him? But this is a just and righteous man right here. According to the word of God, Yahweh, that man shall live. Do I need to know the prophets and all the prophets in order to live? No. Who do I need to know in order to live? I need to know him, the one and only Elohim. And how do I know him? You know him through his people. Now, you have to understand now, Yahushua, the Messiah, was sent to his people. He was not sent to the world. I come but only. People don't understand. I don't think people understand the word only anymore. I don't think people when people hear the word only, they think in plural. They think it's just a metaphor. I was sent but only to the children of Yahushua. He was not sent to the nations. He was not sent to Rome. He came at the time of Rome. You ever heard Yahushua preaching to the Romans? He never preached to the Romans. But if he's preaching and the Romans hear it, they come to him. And when they come to him and he asks something of them, he grant them that opportunity. Right? But he never went to them because he was not sent to them. He was sent to us. The message is for us. I was sent only but to the lost sheep of Yahushua. Ezekiel 18:23. Ezekiel 18:23. Have I any pleasure at all that the wicked should die, saith Yahweh, and not that he should return from his ways and live? And you should read verse 24 now. Watch verse 24. But when the righteous turn it away from his righteousness and commit iniquities and do according to all the abomination that the wicked man doeth, shall he live? All his righteousness that he has done shall not be mentioned in his trespass that he has trespassed, and in his sin that he has sinned. In them shall he die. Shall he die? So you ask me, what happened to the nations around him? Well, the nation around us. What happened to the nations around us? There's a way for them. Watch this. Isaiah. Watch Isaiah. These are the prophets, man. These are not my words, you know. These are just things that my eyes are open to see that I couldn't see before because I was so freaking locked into Christianity that I couldn't see the truth that Christianity is not of the tribe of Yahushua. The Mashiach, the Messiah that was sent to us, he's not a Christian. He came from the tribe of Judah, Yahudah. He came from the tribe of Yahudah. That means he came out of us. Because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, and I know if you're a Christian, you've heard this somewhere or you've seen it somewhere in the scriptures. Salvation is of the... Who can finish that? Salvation is of the... If you can finish that, type it up. Emoji it. Do something with it there. Salvation is of the... Let me see if one person can finish that statement. Salvation is of the what? Let's see if just one person can finish the statement. The Jews. Yes. Yes. Thank you. I got one testimony. Thank you. Salvation is of the Jews. The original would have said salvation is of the children of Yahushua, or Hebrew as it's pronounced today. Salvation is not of Christianity. It's not of Judaism. Because Judaism is something totally different. It's not of Islam or any nation on this planet. It's of a people. It's of the children of the Most High Elohim. Salvation of the Jews. That's where salvation comes from the Jews. That's why Yahushua, the Mashiach, has to come from within the tribe of Yahushua. And if you don't understand this, you have to look at Abraham. Abraham had a promise from Yahweh that he would have a son, but he went along because I guess Yahweh was taking too long. So he come up with a segregated mom thing. Him and his wife planned this little thing, and then they get the Egyptian woman, and then he breed the Egyptian woman, and then he has a child. And he in his head thinking, here's the promise that because God blessed me with a child, Yahweh blessed me with a child, so this must be. 13 years later, Yahweh come to him and say, hey, listen, that's not my doing. I blessed you with that, but that's not mine. And because of my word to you that your seed shall be blessed, I'm going to bless him. I'm going to make 12 princes out of him. 12 nations going to come out of that guy, Ishmael. But send him away because he is not the promise. The promise is with Isaac. And Isaac is going to come out of your barren wife this time next year. All right, let's move on. Isaac now have 2 sons, twin boys. One named Esau, one named Jacob. Yaakov, if I said that right. Right? And the firstborn, the Most High God said, I hate that one. Esau, I hate. Jacob, I love. That means the promise is not with Esau. Though they came out of the line of Isaac, the promise seed and the promise comes to Jacob. Now, Jacob have 12 children with 4 different women. And the Most High God changed his name from the supplanter, the deceiver, to one who, the prince with Yahweh, prince with God. That's what it means. Prince with Elohim. Yahosheral, prince with Elohim. Because he wrestled with him all night. He hold on to him, he would let him go, let go the angel or whoever. And so you wrestle with God and you have prevailed. So we're going to change your name. We're going to call you Yahosheral. And because of that time and that purpose, the Most High God did not choose one from the tribe. He chose the entire tribe. All 12. If you read First Chronicles 5, and you can see verse 1, you'll see Reuben did something really nasty when he slept with his mother-in-law, or one of the concubines from his father, and defiled his father's bed. And because he defiled his father's bed, he lost his birthright. Read Chronicles chapter 5. He lost his birthright, so he was not the heir. And it was given to who? The second to last son, which was Joseph. And when Joseph was sold into Egypt, the Most High God, Joseph had 2 children in Egypt, Ephraim and Manasseh. And the Most High God grafted them in because of the birthright that was stolen, because the birthright was forfeit. So we no longer have 12 tribes, we have 13 tribes. Because here's the thing now. So you say, okay, hold on. So Reuben was still a part of the tribe, so that still make 12. Then Joseph have 2 sons, and that make 14, right? So that make 14. So how you say, Mike, we have 13? We have 13. Well, you have to remember now, the tribe of Loam, aka Levite, was grafted in and grafted to Yahweh himself. He chose the tribe of Levites for himself. So when he took one from the 14, left 13 tribes. You got to read the Bible, right? I'm going to tell you, it's there. It's all there. Go do some study. Can't do everything for you now. You got to do some seeking and some asking and some searching for yourself, right? So understanding the flow of things. He's still the Elohim of the descendants of the children of the promise. And where are they? Here they are. If you can chase your lineage through the Atlantic slave trade, you are the promised seed. And it's powerful. Ain't nobody preaching this. Those who are preaching this are telling you, there's some other people out there that they call themselves the Hebrew Israelites. Black Hebrew Israelites. They hate the white man, and the white man this, and the white man that, and white man this, and white man that. And hey, whatever. Right? I understand the pain, but vengeance belongs to Yahweh. I don't need to talk about the white man this and the white man that. Vengeance belongs to Yahweh. Someone say, you're lost. Yeah, I'm definitely lost. Thank you for saying that. I am lost. I am lost in his love for me. I'm lost in his will. Yeah, man, that's beautiful. Thank you. Appreciate that. Right? So you're talking about the white man this and the white man that. Go ahead. Oh, the true tribe of Yaosharel are the Mexicans and the Puerto Ricans and the Dominicans and the blacks. You got to look at the history. If there's a Dominican and a Puerto Rican and a Mexican, they better be black and they better have come through the Atlantic slave trade. If they doesn't come through the Atlantic slave trade, they are not the tribe of the promise. Why? Because the children of the promise have to incorporate all the curses, not some, all of it. And not one of the tribe can escape the Atlantic slave trade. They have to come through and fulfill Deuteronomy 28 to the T. And there's only one nation of people that does that, and that's those who came through the Atlantic slave trade, scattered all over the world. The Most High God is still dealing with the children of Yahushua today. And the strong delusion is Christianity and the religions of the world. That's the strong delusion. But let me show you something as I close. You ask me, the soul that sin is the soul that dies. The righteous man is the one who forsake the one who forsake his wickedness and do according to what the Most High said. Watch this now. Watch this now. So how does the nations around us, how do they enter into this promise? Watch this. Watch this now. Isaiah 56 and at verse 1. Thus saith Yahweh, keep ye judgment and do justice, for my salvation is near to come. My what? Salvation. That word salvation, Salvation, is of the Jews. And it's near to come. Near to come. If it's near to come, that means it's not here yet. But it's near to come. Near to come. And my righteousness to be revealed. What is his righteousness? His counsels, statutes, precept, laws to be revealed. What he says, blessed is the man that doeth this, the son of man that lay hold on it, that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it, keeping his hands from doing any evil. What he says here, blessed is the man that doeth this. So it's something you have to do. Blessed is the man that doeth this, the son of man that lay hold on it, and keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it, and keeping his hands from doing evil. Then he says, verse 3 here, neither let the son of a stranger that has joined himself to Yahweh speak, saying, Yahweh has utterly separated me from his people. So this stranger realized something. He has joined himself to Yahweh. So listen now, ladies and gentlemen. Hear what the scripture is saying. It's not someone who's outside of Yahweh is saying this. It's not someone who's outside is saying this. This is not some Gentile that's saying this. This is someone who has joined himself. This is a stranger that has joined himself. We read that in Exodus 8, where he says, Exodus 28-11, where he says, neither let the stranger that is within thy gate. So these people, whoever they are, strangers who are not of the seed of the promise, who have joined themselves to the Most High God. He said, let them not say, though, the Most High God has utterly separated me from these people. Watch this now. Verse 6. Also, the son of a stranger. Son of a who? Stranger that joined themselves to Yahweh. They have joined themselves. To do what? All right? Let him explain. I'm not explaining anything here today. Let him explain. Also to the son of a stranger that has joined himself to Yahweh to serve him and to love the name of Yahweh. You see what I'm saying? So they join themselves to serve him and to love his name, but he keep going on it, to be his servant. You must understand what a servant is. To be his servant. Everyone that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it, and take hold of my covenant. There's a requirement that has to be met, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what we're not taught. Okay, so you were taught grace all your life. And you think that grace is given to you because you have done something wrong. Grace is given to you to do something right. That's what grace is given to you. Grace is actually given to you for obedience. Let's continue. Even them will I bring to my holy mountain and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offering and their sacrifice shall be accepted upon my altar. For my house shall be called a house of prayer for all people. For all people. Watch this now. Verse 8. And Yahweh, or Elohim, Adonai Elohim, which gathereth the outcasts of Yahushael, saith, yet will I gather others to him beside those that are gathered unto him. So Yahweh is going to gather the children of Yahushael back, and then he's going to gather some people unto the children of Yahushael. And what most people don't realize, those people that are going to be gathered, we're not going to be this one big happy. No. Remember what he said in 19. Remember what he said in Exodus 19:4. You shall be unto me a peculiar people above all people. So whether you know it or not, the children of Yahushael will be on top. And you who are gathered will be on the bottom. You will be servants to the children of Yahushael. I know it's hard for some of you to accept, but it's the way it is. You can read it in the Bible. It's there. It's written. You can look it up. What's going to happen to the nation of people? They will serve the children of Yahushael. I will give a double portion back to them. That's what he said it is. I'll give a double portion, and they will serve you who you serve as slaves. Y'all don't want to hear that truth, but that's the way it is. But you know what? I will bless them that bless you and curse them that curse you. You have an opportunity. This is an opportunity here. You want to be blessed by Yahweh? Start blessing his people. You want to be cursed by Yahweh? Start cursing his people. Look at all these slave masters and those who enslaved the people of the Most High. Go look at their history and see the kind of death they die. And there will be a burning. There will be an everlasting fire. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. People don't realize because he will purge the earth, and all the earth will once again reflect the glory of the Most High God. And if y'all don't think it's true, if you don't think what I'm saying is true, let me ask you a question. And I want you to answer this question for yourself. Were there any righteous people in Sodom and Gomorrah? Now, I ask that question because I want you to look at it. Were there any righteous people on the planet when the Most High God destroyed the planet and saved only 8 people? Were there any righteous people in Nineveh? What about the 7 nation that is extinct, that is no longer here? The Perizzites, Amorites, Amalekites, Hittites, I don't know the rest of the ites, but they're in the Bible. Read it. Were there any righteous people in there? Now, when I say righteous, we see what is righteous according to the Most High God. Righteous is not based upon our standard, our government standard, our religious standard. Righteous is based upon his standard. So I'm going to ask the question again. Were there any righteous people living on the planet at the time of the extinction of the 7 nations, Sodom and Gomorrah, or the world in its entirety? Couldn't be. Because if you read in Genesis, he said, Noah, I found you righteous. So there was no one else righteous. He said the same thing about Abraham, I found you righteous. So there was no one else righteous. Now, I'm going to use this word because we use it loosely, but we don't know what it means. But I'm going to use it to you so to give you an understanding. Were there any good people amongst the 7 nation that the Most High destroy and extinct of the planet? Were there any good people in Sodom and Gomorrah? Were there any good people who were living on the planet at the time of the flood? And in good, here's my definition of so-called good, because we know that there's only one that is good. But here's my definition of so-called good. Here's a good person. He went to school, he got an education, he got a job, he worked honestly, he pays his taxes. He, if time to time again, he goes to church. He goes to church and he give his tithes. He pays tithes weekly, religiously. He give to the poor. He gave something to the poor, and he give to charity, and he's out there helping, and he's doing all these good things. He loves his wife and he loves his children, and he pays to send them to good schools to get good education, college. And from time to time he take a drink and hang out with his boys, but he never got drunk. He never used drugs. He never even run a red light. He never got a speeding ticket. Right? He raised his family right, and he loves his wife and he pays all the bills. He has a good insurance policy for his family. If he passed away, he had a good insurance policy for his family, and he set up a good inheritance for his children. That is, in my definition, a good person. That's my definition of a good person. Now, let me ask you the question. Did you think there were good persons amongst the 7 nations that the Most High God destroyed? Do you think there were good persons among Sodom and Gomorrah? I'm asking you, were there any good persons on the planet when the Most High God destroyed? I'm asking you, is there any good person in America today? In Canada? In Europe? Think about it. There are good people out there doing good things. But do they meet the Creator's covenant? Because I'm not the one who set up the right or wrong. I'm not the one who set up good or evil. I'm not that one. I set before you good and evil. I created good and I created evil, said the Most High God. I'm not the one. I'm not the one who's laying down the standard. I am not the one. I'm not the judge. He is the judge. And his word shall judge us in the last days. So you have, my friends, some soul searching to do. Are you going to continue by this world's edict, government, and religion? Or you're going to seek out this one true Elohim? The Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The choice is yours. Just reading some of your comments here. Well, I'm done now. I delivered 2 hours and 8 minutes worth of testimonies, and the rest is up to you, really. I'm not here to tell anyone what to believe or what to think. I'm just telling you where I'm at and what I know, what I've experienced, what I've seen. And ladies and gentlemen, one thing I know about the Elohim of Abraham, he testified to his own words. When you call, he will answer. If you are really serious about knowing him, reach out to him and be ready. Because in order for you to truly be filled with his ruach, filled with his ruach, his wind force, in order for you to have his understanding, he has to open your mind to receive it. Because, ladies and gentlemen, he has sent a strong delusion that people will believe the lie. And that's what's happening. People believe the lie. But because of the prophecies in Daniel 9, Daniel 2, we know exactly where we are, and we have a full understanding of who we are as a people. And so I'm calling on all Middle Passage people, descendants of the Middle Passage people, to gird up your loins, because you're in for a ride. You will not be happy. You're always going to be searching until you come to an understanding of who you are. No religion will fulfill you. No job will fulfill you. No career will fulfill you. No wife, no husband, no dreams achieved will fulfill you. You will always be empty until you come to a realization of who you are and who this Allah aim is. Once you come to a realization of who he is, then you will know who you are. And once you know who you are, you will never be the same. You can't walk around. Trust me. I've tried, man. I've tried to ignore it. I've tried to dismiss it. I've tried to just go on with my life. But let me tell you something. Once I knew him, and he started opening up my mind to see the hidden truth, man, none of the wicked shall understand. He sent a delusion. None of the wicked will understand. They will not understand. They will try and try, but they will not understand. But you and me, woo! All right, I love y'all, man. I love y'all. Alalo at ya'o. And to my peeps out there, man, please be praying for me, because, hey, I'm not playing around, partner. I'm not playing around. Middle Passage people, I'm coming to get you. I'm coming to get you because there's something powerful about you. And when you come together and recognize your man, let me tell you something. When you come together and you call upon that name, you're going to see. Let me tell you a quick story before I leave. So I was preaching this message a lot on these platforms, and we never had TikTok. Yeah, we had TikTok, but I wasn't doing it on Instagram. And we had a bunch of people that week that called me and DM me and say, hey, man, I want to learn more. And I was talking to them privately, and we started this group of people. We started a group of us, man, and it grew to about 20, 25 people. And we were all loving each other, man, and just really sharing. It got to the point where we really started exercising loving that neighbor. Like, if someone need money, we would boom, 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 boom. And I think, certain things start happening in the group. One of the sisters said to me, we should all meet. Like, he's like, we should all come together and meet. And I said, well, that's a great idea. And we decided that we were going to Tennessee at one of those cabin areas there. I forgot what it's called, cabin, but it was beautiful, man. Beautiful cabin, top of the line cabin. And this lady, she had some money, so she wanted to do it. She said, I will pay for the cabin. She was part of the group. She said, I will pay for the cabin, but you guys have to get yourself there. And so we started to plan it out, man. It was nice. We're planning it out and everything. And I started to plan out my sermon. Hi, baby. How you doing? Oh, you're so beautiful. Come make everybody see you. Come. No, man. Come, man. Everybody see you, man. I want to show you my beautiful. This is one of my most prized possession right here. Watch this, watch this. Booyah, boom, boom, baby. Come on, make everybody see you. Get down, get down. Yeah, man. It's my oldest daughter, man. This is my baby. This is the one.
Twin.
This is the one. You smell nice. Girl, man, who you meeting?
Nobody. You guys.
This is kind of this kind of thing make you. Yeah. It's like a drug. She come in here with a drug and I smell up all the place.
I did not.
It's my baby, man. It's my baby. Not baby anymore though. She's like my yeah, Kathy. Yeah. What are you bringing? Kathy here or something?
Sorry.
It's all right. Good. She have two little cats. What are their names?
Ella and Pumpkin.
Dumbass cat.
Shut up. They're my fur babies.
Ellen.
Everyone who has pets understands
Ella
this.
and Pumpkin.
He
man.
can't say nothing. Prince is right here.
No, that's my dog.
He-
Come here, son. Come
Prince
here.
is right there.
Come on. Yeah, that's my dog.
He all good with
That's
his
my-
doggies, but he not all good
dog
with his cats.
right here. No, we don't do the kissing. You don't know me like that. Yeah.
From here up is awful.
Yeah. We don't kiss no dog. All right.
You.
I love
Very
you. I'll be done in a minute.
Bye, people and friends.
Yeah, man. This is her. That's the one right there. That's the one. Just pull up my hat and everything. But all right. Yahweh blessed me with 7 of them, man. Yeah, 4 daughters and 3 sons. Yeah, I have 7 children, man, with 4 different women. I wasn't like Jacob and have 12, but I probably would have had 12, but you know how that goes. And I have 4 grandchildren, 3 boys, 1 daughter, and my two babies are now getting is pregnant. I want to say my son got his girlfriend pregnant, so I'm expecting a baby there, and a grandson or granddaughter there, and my youngest daughter is pregnant as well, so I'm expecting another baby. So I'll have 6 grandchildren, 7 and 6. That's awesome. So that's where I'm at. Okay, so this sister was going to pay for the cabin, and we were going to get there, and we have it set up and everything, and I have the message that I was going to preach about unity and calling upon the name of Yahweh. It was the whole message was surrounding about calling on Yahweh. We were going to take that weekend. It was a 4-day trip we were planning, and we were going to take that 4-day trip, and all we were going to focus on is calling on the name of Yahweh. That's all we were going to do. And I would bring my guitar and play and do some stuff, and people were going to cook, and it was just going to be a great time. It was going to be a time of relaxation, a time of praying and fasting and just focusing on the name of Yahweh. And so we set the date and everything, and we're going to get everything going. And all of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, things just start happening. He say, she say, this start happening. Things start taken out of context, and the group was just kind of in a place where it's kind of getting divided. And long story short, we never went. We never went to the place. It never happened. And the group basically dismantled after however long we were together as a group. And I'm telling you, we used to do Zoom meetings, and we were praying on the phone, and we give people opportunity to share the word of God and share from the scriptures. It was really great, man. I mean, we were sending money across the oceans because we were in how many states? Maybe 6 or 7 states, and in Trinidad. And yeah, I know we have people calling from Trinidad. I think it was 6 or 7 states and Trinidad, Africa, England, and Australia. That's how far we have reached people. And long story short, we got divided. And I said, some time passed now, maybe about a year passed, and I kept asking Yahweh, I'm like, what happened? What happened? Because even I was accused of saying something or did something. Up to this day, I don't know what I said. I've reached out to people. I said, man, what have I said? What have I done? I've read the scripture. I said, if a brother sin against you, you're supposed to go to the brother and show him his fault and all these things. And, because back then I had that New Testament mindset too, and I'm looking at the Bible, and then I said, wait, Yahweh said we must love our neighbors as ourselves. So if I've done something to you, please tell me, show me. Because if you don't tell me, you don't show me what I've done, then most likely I'm going to do it again, not knowing I'm hurting you. No apology. Finally, one lady came across and she was saying, the one from Trinidad, and she was saying that how she thought I said this and I said that, and I'm like, man, I never said that. And then she started to bring in information to the other ladies who jump on our bandwagon, and I I was able to say, hey, listen, that's not what I meant, and that's not what I said, and I brought other brothers in, and I brought other sisters in, because like I said, I was on that New Testament thing at that time, and I say, if your brother sin against you, you're supposed to go to him one-on-one, and if he doesn't listen, you take two more, and then if he doesn't listen, you tell it to the group, and then you have nothing to do with the person. So that's what I did. I did one-on-one, and then two-on-one, and three-on-one, and then I tell it to the group, right? And long story short, everybody had their own little thing that was going on with them, and the group was split. But some people remain with me, and I'm friends with them to this day. We still talk. We still, I still give a shout out every now and then to them, and we just have a great time, and we talk offline, and we still remain friends, and we still remain brothers and sisters. We are looking to go to Madmar together too, and But anyway, about maybe a year into our group breakup, and I was on live right here, and I was doing the live, and I was, just talking about Yahweh and stuff. And then it hit me, boom! It hit me like a ton of bricks, because I've been praying and asking, what happened, Yahweh? What happened? Why this never happened? And why we were coming together? That was my prayer. I'm like, have I done anything? Reveal it to me. Show me. Like I really wanted to know if I was the one that did anything. And Yahweh just showed me who did what, how it started. And some of the people that accused me of doing something came back and apologized to me, but they never went to the group and say, well, we realized that he didn't say anything. And no, they never did it. They just sidebar me and apologize. I'm still waiting for two of the sisters to come back and say, and tell me what I've done. I've reached out to them several times. I've sent texts. I've left messages for months. I've left messages. I've texted. Hey, listen, guys, again, I just want to know if I've done you any wrong. Please give me the opportunity to repent of it and make it right. Nothing. I haven't heard from them ever since. But anyway, about a year passed now, and I'm here on the show, and I'm thinking about these things, and then boom, the Most High delivered me the message. Like he delivered to Daniel when the King Nebuchadnezzar's dream. He gave King Nebuchadnezzar a dream. This is in Daniel chapter 2. And Nebuchadnezzar forget the dream. And then Daniel was given the dream and the interpretation. I had that same opportunity. And I realized, I called the group right away. And I said, look, guys, send a text to the group. Because some of them remain in the group, but some of them don't respond to me, but they remain in the group. So I guess when I sent a text, they could see it if they have the same number. And I said, I now know why we couldn't meet in Tennessee. I realized what happened. I said, Yahweh did it. It wasn't the person's fault. Yahweh did it through the person. Yahweh is the one who knows the hearts of everyone in the group. And Yahweh is the one who causes the dissension in the group. And they were like, what? I'm like, yeah. And I said, you know why? Here's why. Because the reason why we were going to meet, the reason why we were going to meet was that we were going to call upon the name of Yahweh. Now you say, but wouldn't the Most High God want us to do that? Would he not want us to call upon his name here in America? No, he would not. No, he would not. Because we're still in the land of our captivity. And if we had come together as a group and called on his name, he would have to come down. He would have to appear, because he said, if you call, I will answer. He had to appear. So it wasn't how he planned it. We are to leave these places. We are to pack up our stuff and leave and go to the land from which he prepared for us, so that he can renew our power. We have to go back to the wilderness, ladies and gentlemen. And if we had come together and call on his name, he would show up. He would have throw a monkey wrench in his plan. And you know you can't throw a monkey wrench in his plan. He's going to reveal himself to us in the wilderness, and it's all over the scriptures. Go to the ravenous bird, RAVENOUSBIRD, and look at Keep Silence Before Me Island. Keep Silent Before Me. Look at those. There's a series of about 4 videos on that. Go check that out, man. You're going to see what I'm talking about. We are preparing ourselves to get out of here, and he's opening the way, and I can see it happening now. Like we pretty soon we're out of here. So hopefully I can broadcast to you from the land of what we call in our language Madbar. Now you got to go look at it for yourself and see what it means. So I'm not going to tell you. I want you to go look at it. Ravenous bird, RAVENOUS, ravenous bird, BIRD, and go and look at the Keep Silent Before Me, right? Islands. Keep silent before me. You'll see it. And then when you get a chance, as you're flipping through his posts, look up the true name of the creator. It's going to blow you away, man. Tell you. And something going to stir up in here. You're going to see. Come back to me and DM me and let me know what you think. All right. But yes, so the next move for us now is to get out of this place and head out to Madbar, and so that the Most High God can renew our strength. All right, man. I love you guys. I'm out. It was nice talking to you and spending 2 hours and 25 minutes with you, and I thank you very much. I thank you very much. Appreciate you guys a lot. Peace.